Hey, Latte Lovers, I'm Mark. Welcome to Whole Latte Love. I have our tech manager, Brian, with me today. Thanks for coming, Brian.
Hello.
You might talk to Brian if you need a little help with your machine or something like that, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Or on a CoffeeCast. That's that free live one-on-one that we will do with you, like a Zoom one-on-one meeting where we can show you any product that we have, take you through how to use it, that kind of thing. Check it out before you buy it or even after you have it. We can give you a little help. But today, what are we looking at?
Today we are looking at ECM Synchronika. Specifically, what do you got underneath the sheet there?
We'll get there in a minute. I was juggling these earlier if you saw the thumbnails, but the owner here got a little nervous when I was doing that.
Yeah, he didn't like that too much, so now we got to leave it on the counter.
Usually, yeah, and these other videos we've been taking them right out of the box, but we got this one covered up. But let's reveal, right? So what we have here is an ECM Synchronika, the AMG Special Edition. Only 1,000 of these made. We got a normal one over here that we're going to use in a minute, but we do want to take you through the setup, show you it comes in the box with this. Pretty similar between the two, really, and they are the same machine internally.
Yeah, internally exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, this one is equipped with flow control. We'll talk a little bit about that. I got great videos that are linked down in the description of this video if you want to learn more about that. This one does not have flow control, but you can get it with it.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's take a look at what comes in the box. So we have the smaller box over here, which I like. So we'll just take all this out. Now, Brian, you were telling me these often, I'll take out the drip tray here. And as you see there, that's got AMG branding, or the logo, if you want to call it that.
It's really sweet looking, isn't it?
On the drip tray, it's got this special brushed finish, so there's that. Next over here, we have the little cup riser that can go on top of that. Once again, got the AMG logo on there. Then what's really cool about this machine are the carbon fiber components, specially made for this machine. And if you look down in there, you even have more logo and branding right inside the special nanotech baskets that come with this. Those do not come with a normal Synchronika. Let's see. Backflush disc, so you get a single and a double spout portafilter.
Use that.
I'm told this is a vegan.
Vegan. Yeah, the bristles are apparently now being made vegan, so.
That's important.
Yeah.
Right?
The little things, right?
Then also a custom tamper that is also, I'm going to struggle to get this thing out of the packaging here a little bit.
At least you know it's getting there safe, right?
Yeah. But that is also a carbon fiber handle, really cool. And what do you got over here?
All right, you got your supply hose here. If you've ever seen any of the older machines, they had the compression fitting as a little brass circular head there. Now you've got this flat little clip in there. Beyond that clip, you can see there is actually a non-return valve installed in this tube now.
So the water can't flow back the other way.
Exactly, yep.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up, showing you how to plumb the machine. And then the little...
Got a little drain pan there, so if you do plumb it in, we definitely highly suggest that you plumb in your drain line as well, just in case anything ever leaks down the drain and not all over your kitchen.
And then, of course, the user manual. We'll put that aside for now, and we'll get rid of that. But let's walk around front. And actually, you know what? I'm going to have you stay there. So we maybe start under the machine and talk about how you would run this if you're going to plumb it in.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to have to do a little lift here. So
All right.
Don't put anything on the machine.
Uh-oh.
But so this is the plumb connection here. So
This is your plumb connection. It's swivel so that you can go 360 degrees. Obviously, I can't because of the counter right now, but any direction you need it to go. So if your hole in your counter is up this way or whatever, you can angle it there or angle it behind it, whatever works for you. You got a quarter turn valve right here to switch between your plumb and reservoir. Typically speaking, if it's facing towards the fitting, it's on reservoir and the opposite way is plumb, but if it's not, just sometimes it isn't, so don't be surprised.
little version changes over the years here and there, right?
It's just when they put it together, it goes one way, but it looks the same, so it can technically fit either way. So.
And one thing that's kind of interesting about here, a little side note, is that the way this is set up, a lot of machines that plumb in, they'll have a solenoid valve on the plumb-in connection. We don't have that here, right?
Right, yeah, so you can do line pressure pre-infusion.
So that's something a little special about ECM machines with rotary pumps and a lot of Profitex as well?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, and then if we were going to plumb it in, we'd connect right here with the provided the braided stainless hose there and flip the switch in the right direction.
Yep.
Okay, and then also we have some...
Well, you got it up there. I just want to point out, When you first get any of the
Oh, yes.
Synchronikas, a lot of the
Okay.
rotary machines, you got this wing nut down here. This is actually screwed into, I don't know if you can see if I'm getting in the way there.
There you go.
This is screwed into the bottom of the frame of the pump, and what this does is it creates tension, pulls the pump down so it doesn't move around on those rubber mounts, prevents it from wiggling and shipping and causing any kind of damage. So make sure when you get your machine, take that out, otherwise your machine will vibrate like crazy.
Right. It's just a shipping bolt per se, right?
Yep, that's exactly what we call it, the shipping bolt.
Okay. All right, so we'll flap it up here. And again, this runs by reservoir. We'll talk about that. But there's a switch up here, depending on which way you're going to run the machine, from reservoir or the plumbed water line. You want to set that switch properly.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
You got a little picture of a little faucet on the right, and you got a little jug on the left. If you're running off the reservoir, you just want to make sure you got it flipped over.
And we're going to run on reservoir, right?
There you go.
There it is, yeah. And then also up here, another switch, right? I guess we can push that up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's for turning off the steam boiler.
Yep.
Yep, okay. So we got the back flush disc, right? There's a fun little spot that can go.
There you go.
Little place to set that in there.
That way you always know where you forgot it.
Right. And then, of course, the nice drip tray here would slide in.
Yep.
And if we wanted to put the cup riser on, center that up, right up towards the front.
I think you were going to ask me earlier about the coating that sometimes you
yes.
see these come in. This is for both AMGs and for the regular Synchronikas. Sometimes you'll see it come in with a white film on it, and sometimes that white film has little blue lines on it. We get a lot of questions about that. That's just a laser film. It's not for a shipping protection, it's actually part of the manufacturing process. It's not always on there. So if you get a machine that does have it, that's just
Take it off.
they didn't take it off. So it's great. It's a little extra protection when it's in shipping. If they did take it off already, sometimes they just do. So
Yeah.
it doesn't indicate anything either way.
So our next step is to get some water in here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So
What kind of water are we going to use?
Well, and that's let's have a little conversation about water, because especially dual boiler machines, right? You really want to treat the water so you don't get scale.
Exactly.
And we've done a lot of videos about this, but that's the number one problem causer is scale in a machine.
Absolutely.
And descaling a dual boiler is somewhat difficult, or
It's
maybe
a
shouldn't
lot
be
of
done by a
work.
homeowner.
Yeah, it's not something that the manufacturer or we really recommend that end users do. To do it properly and not damage anything, you really want to be able to take the machine completely apart, remove the boilers from the machine, and it's a whole process.
So there's some options, and we like the options from BWT, which does an ion exchange. So it exchanges calcium that's in your water for magnesium. And the magnesium, if you use these filtration options properly, you will not get scale in your machine, yet you'll still have the mineral content that you need for nice flavor. And in fact, I've seen a lot of studies done by BWT where they compare regular water softening with the magnesium, the patented magnesium technology they use, because regular water softening uses salt.
Right.
And salt is not as good an extractor of flavor as the magnesium or the calcium would be, but calcium causes scale, magnesium doesn't. So,
Exactly.
got some of the options here, three roll options. First this is BWT's latest pitcher. If you're familiar with Brita, it's like a Brita, but a lot better, because I'm not aware of Brita filters that really do this sort of exchange. They're mostly particle and carbon and that kind of thing. And so we have carbon filtration in here for chlorination, and also that magnesium ion exchange. That's the latest version, so some may be familiar with the earlier version of this. Uses the exact same filter cartridges. You can just kind of see them in here. So you just use this, and this also makes great drinking water. So that's one option.
Yep.
The other option is, I put in the drawer, these guys right here. So these are Best Save pad filters. They do exactly the same thing. And I'm going to try and get this open for you. And this just drops into the reservoir. And it has that magnesium, calcium to magnesium ion exchange, also the carbon filtration to get rid of the chlorination. But so you just drop this into your reservoir, which is right up here, and in she goes. The one thing about this is they take about 8 to 12 hours to actually do all their filtration, because they're just sitting within the reservoir.
Yeah.
So if you're going through more than a reservoir a day, this probably isn't the best option for you. The option we really like, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is BWT's Best Max Premium system. So this does the exact same thing. So this is if you're plumbing your machine in.
Yes.
Although you could run this to an auxiliary faucet at your sink or something if you wanted to. And people plumb the machine and put an extra faucet in for drinking water and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
These make it really easy. They also generally, you can get a package with a pressure regulator on it. So if you're gonna do that line pressure pre-infusion, you can knock down the pressure. And actually, ECM recommends, I think it's 1.5 to 2 bar pressure into the machine.
Yeah, there's the minimum maximum range that the machine needs to operate in, and that's between 1 and 2 bar, just under 2 bar, but we call 2 bars safe.
Yeah, but so when you have this, you're totally protected. You never have to fill a reservoir when you plumb a machine. I love that a lot. That's what we do over here at our lab. So there's that option too. Like all of those, but we're gonna go start this up with a reservoir. So I'm gonna get some water in there, and we'll turn it on and go through the startup procedure.
Awesome. While he's doing that, I'll just mention that when it comes to choosing the right filter for your scenario, you really got to make sure that you're testing your water.
Right.
Test your water before filtration and after filtration. That way you have a really clear idea as to what your water is like and what the filter is doing to your water. That way, you know that everything's actually being treated well.
And we do have some videos on that, and test kits available. You can do that. It'll test total hardness and carbonate hardness, and then you know what you need to do.
Yep.
All right. So we have our filtered water in the reservoir. So why don't we go around front and get her rolling here? I did have a little thing to catch water. I had a little Pyrex pitcher. Where
I got you.
Okay, there we go. Love the live. So this has so the Synchronika and a lot of the ECM machines and projects have a fill mode now to make sure that the boiler gets filled with water. So basically, we're just going to turn the machine on, right?
Yep.
And it's going to kind of walk us through it. And this is only on the very first startup, or if you should. Oh, you know what? When it doesn't work, it helps if you plug it in. So there we go. Okay. So we'll try that again.
Take two.
Take two. Oh, we have lights now, so that's good.
Fantastic.
So we're gonna get a little version number here, right, on this, and then it's gonna say fill. And so what do we need to do there, Brian, when it tells us this?
All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is, you can hear the machine is filling the steam boiler right now. We're gonna let it finish doing that first. Once that boiler is done being filled, you'll see that the fill mode is still active. We're going to want to top off the water in here, because after this, we're going to need to lift the brew lever for a minimum of 30 seconds. And it's called 30 seconds, but I see a lot of people that shut it off right at 30, and it will negate it.
Okay.
So I always wait for 31, 32 before I drop that lever, just to make sure that it actually catches.
And this is a dual boiler machine, right? So it filled the steam boiler. Now we got to fill up that brew boiler. There's no water sensor probe in a dual boiler in the brew boiler.
No, and that's exactly why we have this fill mode on any of the machines that don't have a level probe in it. That way you're protected against shorting out your heating element. 'Cause if your boiler starts heating with no water in it, it's not good for that element.
Okay, so you can
Get
start
that
that,
topped
right?
off. Yep,
And
I'll
top
start
off
it. You
this.
top it off. All right. We got the nice timer rolling there, up 3 seconds.
So again, the point is this has to go beyond 30 seconds to complete the fill mode.
Exactly, yep. So you'll get the water. This is what a lot of people start to do, is they see the water come out and they go, okay, there it is, drop it down. So yeah, just let it keep going. This is also removing air bubbles from the system. You'll hear a different pitch in the pump as you let more water run through the system as well. There we go, 32. Now it's going to start heating.
And that's all we got to do.
Yep.
All right. So like I said, we have, this one, because it takes, about how long should you let a machine heat up?
I like to let them heat up for at least 20, 25 minutes, just because it helps to really regulate the temperature on the group head. The other thing that's important to do is make sure that you've got your portafilter on there, because that makes a huge difference as whether or not the portafilter is heated up as well.
Mm-hmm. So, but we do have our machine over here, which we did that with.
Yep.
So
we're ready to rock and roll on this one.
So we'll come around and maybe just take a quick look at some of the, I'll let you describe the PID functions maybe, and I'll pull a shot. How's that?
That sounds
Is
good
a
to
fair
me.
break? Okay.
Yeah. All right, we see everything okay here? All right, so we got, just like most of the PIDs on PropTech and ECM machines, if you just look at it. You can see that it's going to cycle between your steam boiler temperature and your brew boiler temperature. That's indicated by where the little decimal point there is. Closer this way is going to be your steam. Closer this way is going to be your brew. If you don't like looking at this, that's okay. You can turn it off. Hold down on your plus button there for a few seconds. It'll turn it off. You'll see just a little decimal point there. If you want it back on, press the button again, comes back on. You can go into the light menu by pressing both buttons at once. I'll run through real quick. T1, T2, those are your temperatures. It's your clean, your eco, and whether it's Celsius or Fahrenheit. So I can go in there and press up and then down to cycle through the temperatures here for the brew boiler. Go to T2, that's your steam. So I can go up and down. Right now we're at the max 70. And then clean cycles, it's how many shots you want it to pull before it tells you to do a clean cycle. So you set for 10 up to, I don't remember what the max is on that, but.
I think it's above 100 anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So clean, eco mode, same idea. You're setting a time frame for how long you want the machine to sit idle before it'll go into the eco mode. Basically what that does is it just drops the temperatures really low. I love eco mode because it makes it so that your wait time for when you turn the machine back on isn't quite so long. It's also more efficient for the electricity as well.
Sure.
So.
And then you can wake it up from eco mode, I think, just by raising the lever.
You can raise the lever, or you can just press one of the buttons and it'll wake it up.
Okay. And so we're running, so again, you saw the two different temperatures. We're going to run at 200, which is right in the mid-range of the espresso brewing range of 195 to 205. We're going to be using a light roast coffee here, our very own Crema Wave.
Nice, good stuff.
So, well, let me pull the shot, right?
All right.
Now, I am going to use a scale here. I mean, that's really what you should be doing.
Absolutely.
So I've got an Acaia scale over here. And my little trick with these, it comes with this little pad, so I flip that over, set my portafilter on there, so we'll tear that out. And it kind of tears when it wakes up like that, but I'm just going to hit tear again just in case. And wait for the thing. Oh, okay, there we go.
Yep.
And then I'm over here, I'm going to use a Chiato E37S grinder. We call it our reference grinder here. It's our favorite, huge 83 millimeter burrs, grinds real fast. I've got a time here set of 3.3 seconds. But it's going to grind me about 16 grams. We'll see what it does here. Okay. I did dial this in earlier, so we'll see how we do here. Oh, we're a little heavy at 16.7.
That's all right.
But that's okay. And I've got this little mat. This is the tamper that comes with this Synchronika. And so I'm also going to weigh my shot. I'm going to look for a 1-to-2 ratio. So we're going to do about 34 grams into our cup. I'll take this over, get my little shot glass here. Remember to tear. Half the time I forget to tear the scale.
I always forget. That's why I use 2 scales.
Yeah, 2 scales make it easier. We'll see how we're doing. We're looking okay right now. And so we do have the shot timer running there. And that was just a hair heavier than I wanted to be for the stock basket there. And how are we doing? Oh, we're looking right on. Thank you, sir. So I'm going to stop this at about 32.
Nice.
And we're right at 33 in 28 seconds. So that's right about right. And that's how, I mean, I use this coffee a lot. I know how I like it. And that's the timing that I like. Of course, I made my little mess. I can't place a cup.
It's an obligatory mess.
So
Usually I'm the one that's making a mess in your studio, so
right.
Gotta let him have some of the fun.
Yeah, and that's nice. Exactly what I expect from this coffee. Got a little hint of sweetness in there along with the almond. But so it is a dual boiler, right? So
exactly.
We can brew and steam simultaneously.
Yes, that's one of the biggest advantages of having a dual boiler there, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to knock that out. And so let's make a little latte, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I can't guarantee it'll be a pretty one, but
oh, let me borrow that. I love a dry portafilter. So you're going to make the latte for us?
If you'd like me to, sure.
All right. So
I haven't been a latte artist in forever,
Uh-huh.
literally ever, but I like to have fun with it, so let's give it a shot.
As you'll hear me say in a lot of the videos, art or not, it's still going to taste good.
Exactly.
Right. So let me grab the milk. You get the shot ready.
Alrighty. Get a little cleaner there.
And again, if you guys have any questions on the Synchronika, we are taking those in the chat. We'd be happy to answer those at the end. Or after the fact, if you're not watching us live, you can always leave a question in the comments, and we do track those and we answer them. I'll make a quick check. Are we going to have any at this point? Yeah? Okay.
All right. Well, that was consistent to the first one, so.
Okay.
You know the grinder's doing his thing, right?
We've got one so far.
Oh, sure. Hey, Ellie. And Brian back there. Yeah, what do we have?
Yeah, Scott noticed that you guys showed a metal plate on the bottom.
Yes.
What does that do?
That can give you access to the bottom of the boiler, right?
Yep. If you take that plate off, you'll actually have access almost directly underneath the steam boiler in case you ever need to look for leaks or have to change the element or the gasket on the steam boiler. So it's just a little access panel.
And just in general, if you don't know about Synchronika, this is like the easiest machine to get into. And I'll tell you, we had to use this machine in other videos, and I did want to get it back to its empty and startup state, which you can do. But I only had to take one screw out of here, remove this panel, and I was able to drain out the brew boiler.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is really nice.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage to if you ever need to do service, draining to ship it, store it, anything like that. Just being able to take one screw out, take two screws out and loosen two, and you have all the housing off. Like it's a technician's dream, basically.
Yeah, really no other machine. And that's just part of like ECM. They came out of like servicing machines a long time ago, and they do a lot of commercial machines. And so that's part of that is that serviceability, reliability is very important to them.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you open these up, and we have videos like that, I think we have done a couple together, where we really take a look inside the machines and how, they use the KISS principle, right? The keep it simple, stupid kind of design. So it's very reliable and really just does what it needs to do.
Yeah. If you ever want to hear me geek out and just talk way too much about the inside of a machine, check out some of those videos. All right. I should probably brew before this sits any longer.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, I did put some cups up here if you'd.
Yeah, I can brew in a cup. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, tear it out and roll.
And like I said, you could be steaming right now too, which is really the way to do it. So your stuff isn't setting that long. We're doing a lot of talking here, so we're taking up some of that time. But
I know, I love to talk, Mark. You know me. All right, so I gotta purge first, get a little bit of that moisture out of there. I went a little long on that shot. See, I'm not a trained professional.
Uh-huh.
All right, so the key here is to do a really good job at this, just in case my wife is watching, because she actually teaches people how to make latte art. So if I don't...
So she'll give you the business later?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she gives me a hard time regardless. I trained her well in that aspect, so.
You won't tell her. So always, of course, purge and wipe, very important. Now, just mention, you get really nice steam pressure on the Synchronika. We were up around 2 bars when we started in the boiler. It's going to be a lot more than, say, like on a heat exchange boiler machine. Those typically run like in that 1 to 315 range. How you feeling about your milk there?
I do this because I see the professionals do this, so
Okay.
we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not a professional, and I think I have a coffee ground sitting in there. Oh, can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. Okay, excellent. You were supposed to say no and pan away. Oh, look at that, look at that. I got the not steady hand. Check it out. It's abstract.
Yeah, it's very,
It's actually an alien. You see that's his jaw right there, that's his head. So.
See, we're getting into the psychology of coffee.
Yes, is it a butterfly or is it sunshine? Oh, let's see.
What's really important is how it tastes.
Tastes great.
Tastes great.
So I'll settle for that.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, I've got a couple of the maintenance products here that you might want to have. Our next Cafeza, right?
Absolutely.
This is what they use in all the coffee shops. I also got the scoop brush here, which makes it super easy to measure this out. And that would you just pop that back flush disc into your portafilter, take a level scoop of this into that, and then you like pop it in, and you run the machine like somewhere between 5, 10, 20 seconds.
I like to go with the 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 rule.
Okay.
10 on, 10 off, 10 on, 10 off. Do that. Depending on how often you're really doing it. If you're doing a water-only back flush, you can get away with doing a less severe of a chemical back flush. If you're neurotic like me, I'll do a water-only back flush every time I use the machine. Not literally every shot, but every day that I use my machine. And then,
But you could do that like once a week. I think less neurotic folks might do that like maybe once a week.
Yeah, if you do that once a week, you're good. If you're ever going to not use the machine for a while, definitely at least do a water-only back flush, if not a chemical back flush. The longer the machine sits with any oils or anything that are left in there, it'll kind of solidify over time and cause some restrictions. So make sure it's clean before you put it away.
And the frequency of using a cafeteria, using a cleanser.
Yeah, that's
100 to 150 brew cycles. That's kind of like the recommendation.
That's like the common one that you hear going around, and I'd say that's a safe one to go by.
And like we've talked about in other videos, you do it too often, you can actually, take out some of the lubrication in the group there. So
because it's a degreaser is basically what the Cafeza is. It breaks down grease and oil, and grease and oil is needed to keep this nice and quiet like this, and not going.
Yeah.
So if you start hearing that noise, it just means that got to lubricate a little bit. So a lot of times you can just back flush with water only, and that'll make the sound go away.
Okay.
Also, just brewing coffee, because of the natural oils in it, will re-lubricate it as well.
Okay. Well, thanks. We'll check for the questions there in a sec. I do want to mention that down in the description, there's also links to the support site, and you'll find a lot of our videos there where we go through the maintenance of these. I mean, we even have like a full E61 rebuild, which is something you won't have to do for quite a while, depending on how often you use the machine. But if you need to support, tons of video there. And of course, guys like Brian, who've been doing this for years, who you can talk to directly when you need to, or schedule one of those coffee casts. How about any questions?
Yeah, PB would like to know what the basket size is again. I think you guys went over it really quickly.
Okay. So the stock baskets that come with it, I'd say they're closer to more like an Italian size, right? They're going to be in that 15 to 16, depending on the coffee, because different coffees have different densities. How much you're going to fit in there?
Yeah,
double.
Yeah, I'd have to double check on that, but I think that the stock double is a 17 gram, and the stock single is a 6 or 7.
Yeah, it might 8 or 8.
Maybe 8.
Honestly, I don't ever do singles.
Submit a support ticket, and we'll tell you the truth.
And here's the thing, right? Like we saw over here. Some precision nanotech coated baskets that came with this version of the Synchronika, which are really nice. Yeah. And I think they're a little bigger, but you can always upgrade.
Exactly.
Always upgrade to, you get a bottomless portafilter, you get a 22 gram triple shot basket in there, no problem.
Yeah, the thing to keep an eye out for if you're ever going up in size in a basket is to make sure that it fits if you have a spouted portafilter. Yeah. You'll see people try to use the triple shot that comes with a naked portafilter and put it into the double, and so it's a little bit deeper than you got space for in there. So
yeah, but we have all that information if you go on the website. What's going to fit what, or you can talk to a guy like us, and we'll go check for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay, all right. Anything else? All right. Well, listen, we're going to wrap it up again. If you have any more questions, get down in those comments. We do take a look at those all the time and try and respond as much as we can to those. So we'll take those there, or you can always schedule a CoffeeCast and get a one-on-one demo with the machine. And do also, if you already have a Synchronika and you're looking for some self-help support, there's a link down in the description to our full support center for this machine and a whole lot more.
Yep.
All right, guys. Listen, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon for more of the best on everything coffee. And Brian, thank you so much for coming along and helping us out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, take care, guys.